Hello everybody, Sally Stitches, and I am here for my April to-be read list and my April goals. So, I had a pretty good month in March, and I read 6 books, and this month I have 9 books picked out for my TBR. But the wonderful thing about this month is only one of them is a library book. Now that all my lovely books are organized behind me, I actually have seen how many I need to read. So my goals for the next few months are actually not to purchase any new books. I have signed up for Owl Crate, so that will be my only exception to the rule. And I will put a link below if you're curious as to what that is. You get a new book and some bookish goodies every month sent to you, and you don't know what it is, and each one has a theme. But otherwise, I am going to be giving my Barnes & Noble membership a bit of a rest because I really want to knock out a bunch of the books that I already own. So I'm really happy to say that actually 8 of the 9 books are books that I do currently own, and I'm really excited to be reading. One of them is a library book, and that I'm also going to be taking a bit of a break from the library because it gets me in trouble because I check out way too many books. So let's get started. The first book this is not in any order. I don't know which one I'm going to start with, but in my pile, the first one is Nicholas Sparks' The Longest Ride. I say that I'm a really huge Nicholas Sparks fan, but then I kind of find myself being like okay with his books. I was reading Nicholas Sparks before anyone knew who he was. Like, I was reading these in high school, and there was, I think the only movie that was out was like Message in a Bottle. But yeah, so I wasn't really interested in this book. This is one of his newest ones, if not, it might be his newest book actually. And I just, like, the theme didn't really interest me. But the movie is coming out April 10th. So the second Friday, I believe, in the month. Or no. Yeah. So, and I do enjoy seeing his movies. My mom and I like to go to them in the theater. But I do prefer to read the book first and then go to the movie. So this probably will be one of the first ones I read just because I want to read it before I go to the movie. The trailer for the movie looks fantastic. I didn't think I was going to be interested in it at all. But I believe it has to do with, like, cowboys, and I know it's a timeline jumper. It goes back and forth between an older man and then, like, present day or something like that, and a younger couple. So I'm actually really interested. I've heard that this book is actually really good. So that's the first one on my TBR. And then the next one is a reread for me, and it's To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This one is all the buzz right now because her sequel is coming out in a few months. I haven't read this book since high school, which, believe it or not, has been over a decade ago. But I just really wanted to reread it, and my local Barnes & Noble is having a little bit of like a book discussion, book club thing in a couple weeks about this book. And so I wanted to just kind of freshen up on it before I go to that, because it has been a really long time and I don't really remember much about it. So I'm going to reread that this month. So this is my ambitious book of the month. I am going to finally start the Game of Thrones series, the Fire and Ice series. So this is Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. This is the first book in the series, and it's believe it or not the biggest one, but this is pretty much the only TV show I watch. I don't have cable, and obviously I spend most of my free time reading or chasing a toddler. So I am so addicted to the TV show that it's ridiculous. So I need to just like finally start the series. And I've heard that once you kind of get into it, you just kind of fly through it. So I'm really hoping that's the case with this. But I'm really excited. So yeah, read it. And I'm really excited. I have the whole set, so I am planning on reading all 5 of them this year. So I'm not going to put any crazy number on them, but I would like to finish the series this year. The next one on my TBR is going to be Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I am probably the only person on the planet that has not read this book. I have seen the movie. My boyfriend and I went to that in theaters when it was in theaters. I haven't seen it since it's been out on DVD. But I obviously know what happens, but I have heard such wonderful things about this book, and I'm like, you know what? I just gotta like finally read it. And I have her other two that I also would like to read, but yeah, I'm excited to finally get started on this. And then I probably will rent the movie and rewatch it and kind of compare notes and whatnot. But so there's that. I'm actually really, really excited about this TBR list this month. These are all books that I've been wanting to read for a really long time. The next one is Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I actually don't really know anything about this book. It looks like a really easy read, but sometimes the classics kind of fool me because I have a hard time getting into them occasionally. But I am wanting to kind of step up my game, and a few people that I correspond with online are reading this month, so that's kind of what this is part of. I don't really know anything about it. The next one I'm really, really, really excited about, and this is for my local book club, and it is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I started this book probably actually like 6 months ago, and I was kind of getting into it, but I wasn't that far into it, and obviously this is like all the rage right now, and my boyfriend saw it sitting on my shelf, and he was like, oh, I've been really wanting to read that book. Do you mind if I just borrow it and read it real quick? And I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine, because I had set it down and taken a break from it just to kind of like get back into it later. And I was like, that's fine, just don't lose my bookmark, whatever. So he gives it back to me like 2 days later. I don't think he slept or anything. And I was like, oh, that's cool, you really liked it, huh? And he's like, yeah, it was amazing. And I was like, where's my bookmark? And he's like, whoops. So I'm going to just be restarting it from the beginning because it's been like 6 months anyway. But it's more like a utopian type novel, but it apparently has a lot of 80s references, and it's kind of based around like the video game era and that kind of stuff. So I've yet to meet anybody that hasn't liked this book, and I do believe that they're making this into a movie. I can't remember. I just posted something. I believe it's Steven Spielberg, or maybe it's not. But it's somebody. Go Google it, because it's gonna be good. It's gonna probably be like the best movie ever. So there's that. Really excited for that one. The next one is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is for an online book club I have with my best friend and one of our other mutual friends. And we actually have a Goodreads group, so I will link that below if you want to follow us. And this is going to be our first book. So if you want to read along with us, you sure can. I'll leave the link below for our group. But I am pretty excited to read this. I've heard really awesome things about it. I don't know 100% what it's all about, but I love this cover so much. And this is only the paperback, and the cover is so beautiful. So I'm really, really excited to get into this one, see what it's all about. And then the next two are kind of go together. One of them is a library book, so that's the last library book I have to read, to return. And that is The Wild Truth by Carine McCandless. And this is a nonfiction book about Christopher McCandless. He was the guy that inspired Into the Wild. And they made a movie about it, and I haven't read the book yet. And Into the Wild is super short, so I'm going to read that first before I read hers. And I have seen the movie, though. I have the movie. I love the movie. I've heard kind of iffy things about both of these books, but I really liked the story, and I'm really kind of excited. I've heard that this book instead of really saying much about her brother, it kind of just sounds like a whiny girl that, like, hated her parents. But, I mean, you know, from the way that it was portrayed in the movie, he wasn't really a big fan of his parents either. I'm excited to kind of see, like, there's pictures, there's, like, family pictures and stuff like that in the book, and I just kind of want to see what their story is about. So those are actually all the books, believe it or not. I am really, really excited to get started, and I really am, like, thinking I'll be able to knock this one out of the park. So I'm going to leave links for all the books down below. If you have read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them. Let me know what you plan on reading. And otherwise, I will just see you guys later. Bye! Not the first Friday, but the second Friday. Let's see. But we'll see. Not necessarily post-apocalyptic. It's just, well, I mean, yes, it's sort of a book. Yeah.